What's going on? I'm AJ and I'm about to give you the top 5 reasons why you should not move to Seaside on 30A in Florida. If you've been to 30A, then you've likely visited Seaside, whether on foot or you drove by, took a bicycle, something. I mean, it's teeming with life. It's super hip. You've got tons of great options for eating, quick access to the beach. I mean, really, what's not to love? Well, let's get into it. What is not to love about Seaside? Well, for starters, the first thing that we're going to go over is how busy it is. In our peak seasons, there is so much tourism. Everybody's walking along the roads, everybody's standing in lines trying to get their food. That means there's a longer wait for everything. And the roads are pretty dangerous, whether you are a pedestrian or you're driving. Like, there's just so many people on the road that it's kind of a problem. So if you're the type to text and drive, absolutely do not do it anywhere on 30A. You shouldn't be doing it in general, but Seaside is just a peak area to not attempt that whatsoever. People are constantly crossing the road on 38 all over the place. So it's just teeming with people because they're beautiful cottages that you can rent out, and you're in these beautiful areas with these beautiful little white picket fences. It's just very picturesque. You've got the town center of Seaside with all those cute little shopping boutiques, and you've got the amphitheater going on there with some live music and various events. You've got the line of all the Airstreams so that you can just go and have like walk up food, chill out on one of the benches and just eat like that, super chill. Or just go to the south side of 30A within Seaside, so just on the south side of that 30A line. Then you've got, Bud and Alley's and that pickle place. I don't know why the name is escaping me, but so many great options just right there. So people just kind of flock to it because Seaside was built with this urban development design in mind. So everything is super walkable. You don't have to really go anywhere to get what you need. So if you're a local and you live here and you're dealing with tons of people coming to the area, it might feel like a bit of a nuisance, especially when you're trying to, walk by the Truman House or go check out the Seaside Chapel or, any of the other kind of iconic sites right there in Seaside. They're going to be teeming with people. But on the flip side, if you're a little bit impatient and, dealing with people isn't really your thing, so you're like, I don't know about this, keep in mind the financial benefit of having all of these people come to the area. That means these local business owners are doing well. The owners of these properties that are renting out their homes or second homes, vacation homes, whatever, they're doing well. And all of that money is coming into Florida to bolster our economy, which means we don't pay a state income tax. So cost benefit situation. Yes, there are lots of people, but you get tons of benefits and you're still in one of the most beautiful places on earth. The second top reason why you should not move to Seaside is the cost of living. Now, not like the general cost of living, your groceries and all those other, normal things that you're going to pay for, utilities and what have you. Those aren't necessarily too skewed from the national average. However, for a property, you're going to pay a little bit more. Currently, as at the time of shooting this, we're in the beginning of September of 2023. There are 10 properties on the market. All of these are houses, and they're ranging from $2.4 to $13 million. Now, for a $2.4 million house, you're thinking, well, it's probably a really big house, right? It is not. This house is 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, and it's under 1,500 square feet. And it's not, right on the beach or anything like that. But it is just a few steps from East Ruskin Place and the town center. So it's very walkable. As I said previously, the entire town of Seaside is super walkable. So it's a very, very convenient location. You're still very close to the beach. You're close to all the action, but it's still very quiet. It's a beautiful cottage. It's a bit different from the one for 13 million, but still, this isn't, an entry-level town, to home ownership. So definitely keep that in mind. Even along our panhandle in general, these are pretty steep costs. And even for some of the other areas along 30A, this is, a little bit steep. But like I said, what you get is that great convenience, great income potential for investment, and just kind of living in paradise, The third reason to not move to Seaside is kind of going hand in hand with the cost of living, and it's actually job opportunities. If you don't own a business and you are looking to move here and work at, say, one of the boutique shops or something like that, that kind of income is not going to cover a mortgage in this area. This is very much a place where a professional career is going to be required in order to afford to live here. Whether you're able to work remote or own a business in the area, something like that is going to be required in order to make a purchase over here and live here full time. Now, if you're able to travel for work, like say maybe once a quarter or something, or you're able to work from a laptop, something that you can do remotely, or you own the business that is here locally, or even afar and you're able to handle that remotely, that's going to make it so much easier. But if you're moving here, you've got a regular 9-to-5 job where you work for someone else, chances are this area is going to be a little bit steep and you're not going to be able to find something very easily in the area to facilitate being able to pay a mortgage payment here. The fourth and most dangerous reason why you should not move to Seaside is hurricanes. And actually we just had one. It didn't really hit us. It was a bit further east, Hurricane Idalia. Thank God, we were kind of everybody, I think, in the entire, western coast of Florida was watching that. But we do get them and they're somewhat frequent. Are they a big deal? Absolutely. We've seen hurricanes wipe out entire towns. I mean, look at Panama City Beach to the east of us. They're still recovering from Hurricane Michael. It's, they can be absolutely devastating. Is that a reason to stay away from here? That's something that you have to consider for yourself. If you, are more apt to deal with earthquakes or landslides or tornadoes, even though sometimes we get a couple tornadoes with our hurricanes, we at least have some notice that they're going to come, right? We know at least a week in advance that we're going to have a hurricane coming our way. We can start making those preparations. For me personally, if it's anything a Cat 3 or above, I'm not going to stick around for it. I'm either going to board up, shutter up, something up the house and get out of here. Not necessarily because I think it's a dangerous situation to be inside my particular house during a hurricane, but because I don't want to deal with it. I have a small daughter and I don't want to deal with the inconveniences of a power outage or not having access to fresh food and water, because maybe we run out or something and I don't have her favorite snacks on hand and I can't make it to the grocery store because there are down trees. I just don't want to deal with any of that. It's just completely inconvenient. I would have to deal with it anyways, whether I was there in person through the hurricane or if I come back after the fact. So for me, it makes more sense to just take off, drive away from the hurricane, stay out of the way for a week, have an amazing, unplanned vacation essentially, and just enjoy ourselves for the week and then come back and tend to anything that was an issue. For me personally, I've been through multiple hurricanes. I, went through Hurricane Sally. I was living on the water at the time and it took out the complete bottom half of my house. Granted that was all like kind of storage stuff. It was a stilt house that had been enclosed. So it wasn't quite as devastating as it could have been, but it was still a lot, and even still, I would absolutely and plan to move back to the water, So for me, the benefits outweigh the risks. There is something amazing about living in this area, living on the water. Do we have those hurricanes that come up and risk, pose a threat to us every so often? Absolutely. But is it worth it all that, 90% of the time that we're not worried about it? Absolutely. The fifth and final reason why you should not move to Seaside is our seasonality. So everyone talks about how we basically don't have seasons here, but I think that we do. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm going to pay this kind of money to live in paradise, then I want to be able to go out to the beach every single day. No one's telling me I can't go walk, along the water's edge or anything like that. Yeah, the flags are going to tell me, there are rip currents or there are a bunch of jellyfish in there or something like that, so pay attention to those. However, I'm a little spoiled. I'm like, I want to go to the beach when I want to go to the beach, whether it's sunrise, sunset, middle of the day, middle of the night, whatever. But it gets a little cold here sometimes. I know a few of you guys are laughing at me. You're like, AJ, what do you mean cold? I mean, we can get like a week of 40s, sometimes, high 30s, maybe even low 30s, where I have to put like a real jacket on and I don't like it, So there is a bit of seasonality here to where you want to be able to enjoy the beach when, no one else is here, but it's a little bit too cold too. I would say though, it's really not that serious. Like the cold weather, you can still throw a hoodie on and go walk the edge of the water and have a great morning or, evening meditation on the beach or go walk the Tempucci Trail. Yes, it'll be a little bit chilly, especially the closer to the water that you are. However, still really, really peaceful and healing and just a really, really great experience. If you're still with me, please don't forget, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, and go ahead and hit that like button for me as well. All of my contact information is on the screen. If you're considering a relocation to that area, I would absolutely love to help. I'm AJ BEDDOUK and I'll see you at the next one.